So my name is Nate Merrill. I'm the manager of broadband network operations for Central Alabama Electric Cooperative. I run the fiber subsidiary Central Access network. So we have almost 24,000 subs now, and me and my team, we just make sure that we keep the network online at all times. So CAEC has been around since the late 1930s as an electric oral co-op in Central Alabama. So right now we touch 10 different counties. We have 4 core counties, but we touch 10 counties overall. So really our network from point to point can take almost 2 hours to drive side to side. So yeah, as an electric co-op, we want to enrich the lives of our local community and our members. And that is one reason why we started Central Access, and making sure everybody had, the network at their homes so they could, join the 21st century. So with how large we are, time was a factor. So driving, our headquarters is centralized. So if there was an outage on our edge nodes, it could take over an hour to get there. And then we have to find out where the fibers broke. And then we have to tell people how to get there and what to do, but now we have really quick, we get a picture and a map of where, the fiber could be broken. So it eliminates a lot of the time that we can get our customers back on faster. Yeah, before we got our ALM, we would have mainline fiber outages, and it would take a long time before we could even start summoning the troops. But recently, within last year, we had somebody with a backhoe caught our fiber, and the ALM got us location within 100 meters. And we didn't have to send a tech out to, with the OTDR to shoot the fiber. We just knew where it was, and then we had someone local go check it out. And there it was, fiber was broken. So it really started with us. We had we were still new and learning, how to be an ISP. And one of our internet providers, it was Troy Cable at the time, they told us about the ALM. And so we started looking into it. And then the more fiber we started to have the breaking, the more of a issue we knew that was going to become as we grew, the more fiber we were putting out. And Hurricane Zeta was a big part of that. Hurricane Zeta happened in November 2020, or end of October 2020. And we had fiber break all over the place. And it took us forever to figure out exactly where all that fiber was at. And so now we have about triple the amount of fiber out there. So we knew that being able to actively monitor that was very important. Working with Adtran has always been what we've done. I mean, since day one, we've had Adtran access gear. And then, once the merger happened with ADVA, we knew that we could continue that partnership with Adtran and grow our inventory of what, Adtran was able to provide. And, and other people, there are other OTDR or advanced line monitoring systems out there. But, with the relationship we had with Adtran, we wanted to continue that and work with them. So the way Gresco came into the picture, they are also another cooperative. So we are a member of Gresco Cooperative, or owner of Gresco Cooperative, and they are our main supplier, and they're a preferred vendor of Adtran. So there's a lot of businesses now who won't let you buy through a third party. You have to buy directly from them. But Adtran, working with us, and they knew our business model, they allowed Gresco to be a preferred vendor and let us purchase through Gresco. So, we are local, working with Adtran because, we are just a couple hours away from Huntsville. So Adtran knows the problems that we run into, with local government and state government. So, they're always there willing to help us for any issues. And, they are trusted throughout all the co-ops in Alabama, for sure. So I know our procedures changed, because it used to be, we knew we'd have to wait for someone to go out there. But now, we have it so as soon as if there's a fiber break, an email goes out to everybody that's involved on the mainline fiber side. So they don't even have to wait for, a Central Access network tech or myself to send them an email. It's automatically done. And it comes with a map, with the GPS coordinates. So to give us a rough estimate of exactly where it's at. So it's automatic. So once we started our network, we had a core ring that was a 100 gig core ring, and we've grown faster than anticipated, and we're moving more than 100 gigs a night now. So we know that our core had to be upgraded. So we're currently working through a network upgrade. So the way we use the ALM now, it just monitors our fiber ring, because it can go over 200 kilometers in either direction. So we have a core ring being monitored, but now we've recently purchased more ALMs. and we are putting those in as we're doing our network upgrade. So we'll have 400 gig links everywhere, and our ALNs will be strategically located throughout our network. We'll be able to monitor all of our 400 gig transport links throughout the network. Yeah, so the financial gain we get from ALN is, we are able to be more, there's a lot of talk about proactive and reactive, and now, we get to be more proactive when we know there's an outage and where it's located. We can get those messages out to our customers, so that saves them from calling in, so it's saving their time. And it's also saving time, so we don't have to have a truck roll out there and then, start the process. We can already tell the fiber crews where to go. So being able to have the ALN monitoring our fiber is allowing us to go after contracts and businesses that we've never been able to get before. So we recently are working with one of our local school districts, and in our RFP response, we put fiber monitoring in there as one of the perks of using Central Access and Central Alabama Electric Co-op. So we've been traditionally just a fiber to the home ISP, but now we're getting more into the business side, especially since we have partnered with Alabama Fiber Network. So we're able to go after school RFPs and school contracts. And part of our answer to these school RFPs is we are offering fiber monitoring, especially to like some of the hub sites. So we're able to use that as a pro to use Central Access and Central Alabama Electric Cooperative. So we just know through social media, accidents happen, and we are going up against some of the big broadband providers in certain locations, and accidents do happen. But a lot of our responses we get from our customers are, we had one accident in a year and they had us back on in 2 hours. So now having that response time that can be better than some of the bigger national providers is a big factor for us in marketing. Implementing the ALN through our network has definitely helped us with our brand, especially with just our quick restoration times. We had a tornado in 2022, went through went 90 miles through our electric footprints, and at the time you weren't monitoring all of our fiber. But now, now that we are doing that, we'd be able to respond to those outages a lot faster. So starting out so long ago as electric cooperative, our mission is to provide that reliable power to our rural customers, just like they were in the city. And when we started Central Access, we wanted to make sure that people had that reliable broadband internet too. And so we know that broadband is no longer a luxury; it's more of a necessity. It's a utility, just like power is. And you need it to almost survive these days, to pay bills. And with Adtran, it's one of those things where, you pay for it just to work. And, it just works. So yeah, some really good examples we've had where we've gone above and beyond with the fiber outage. Christmas Day, 2022, I believe, 2021, we had a mainline fiber outage, took down 11 people Christmas morning. And we knew those kids were gonna be opening their Nintendo Switches. So we went out there, I met a tech out there to keep them company on Christmas morning, and we found one of our large enclosures full of water and frozen. And it's got a great picture. She actually has a picture of it, so she could post that, but it's a really good picture. And it took us a few hours. We had to melt the ice and then resplice the fibers, and we got everybody online. Another good example of a fiber outage is we get squirrels a lot. You'll be riding by and, we have 3,000 miles of fiber. It's hard to keep trees off every single inch of the power lines. So sometimes we'll roll up and you'll see that a tree overgrew some of the fiber or power pole. And then once you cut the trees back, you'll see, squirrels' nests, and the squirrels got into it. And just somehow these squirrels know exactly which fibers have light on them, which ones don't. It's like they can sense it. And they'll go after the ones that have light on and take customers down. So the first dove season we had was a fiber bloodbath. Our mainline fiber was shot in multiple locations, and it was near impossible to find out where it was shot at because you're just looking for little BB holes inside of a 144 fiber that's 30 feet up in the air. So we started looking for shotgun shells on the ground and bird feathers, and that's eventually how we ended up finding where it was. We used our OTDR. We didn't have the ALM at the time. So we had to go site to site and shoot the fiber with OTDR, and then find the shotgun shells, and then we were able to replace the fiber from there and get everybody back online. So we've gone back and buried it in a lot of dove fields. We had my boss, Chris Montgomery, had a PSA on the local news channel, asking people not to shoot the utility lines. So yeah, it's, we're not the only people that have to deal with that. So what's next for Central Access and Central Atlanta Electric Cooperative is what we're dealing with right now, and that's we are in the middle of a network upgrade. So we are replacing some of our cabinets and putting huts in there. So that's been a big challenge, having to cut people over at 3 a.m. and move them from one Adtran TA5000 to another Adtran TA5000. But we know bandwidth is needed, so going from 100 gig core ring and then sometimes some 10 gig ERPS rings, we're going to be doing a 400 gig MPLS layer 3 network. So like one of our goals as a company, and I think it's a lot of other co-ops, is this 60% take rate. So we know how many passes we have and how many members we have. So we want to have a 60% take rate, and we know that's one of our goals. But we've been lucky enough that we've been able to go off our power system into other areas. So we want to continue getting those numbers up there, and getting a 60% take rate across the board would be great for us. Yeah. So how do I see different tools for helping us expand? Just expanding, you have to get fiber out there and you have to get devices out there. So the further we go away from our network and build, the more fiber we have to monitor and the more time it could take to get to those locations. So we have to make sure we have the tools in place to make sure we can do that in time and matter. So one of the main benefits of working with Adtran is keeping it local, for sure, keeping it within the state, but also it just works. Sometimes you pay for quality, you don't want to have to worry about it. You just want it to work, and everything that we've ever purchased with Adtran, it just works. Yeah, so I've always said, working with companies like Adtran, the trust is like a credit score. It takes forever to get built, but if something poorly goes wrong, your trust score will drop significantly, and it's hard to get that built back up. But Adtran's never done anything poorly that made us drop their trust score in our books. Yeah, so this is my third Adtran summit. It's easy for me being local. I can just a couple hour drives in, but I just like learning. I like coming to different seminars and learning, and Adtran is always trying to evolve and come out with different products and different software. So being able to come here, once a year, once every 2 years, and seeing what Adtran is bringing to the table is always good to learn. Yeah, so things, the thing the summit provides a lot is that different variety. And with being at a cooperative, we're a tight ship, and we're not a large company, so everybody wears multiple hats. So I wear multiple hats. So I help out, I try to help out in marketing. I try to help out in customer service. And Adtran Summit, has a breakout seminar, for all those things. Yeah. So if someone was thinking about getting ALM, I would say you should have done it already. But I've been like, yes, it's a no-brainer. It's gonna help you with your fiber network. It's gonna make sure your customers are happier in the long run because they're getting restored faster, and overall it's just a win-win for everybody. Yeah, so because there are still some cooperatives who have not done a fiber subsidiary and are still thinking about it to this day. So my advice to those cooperatives or any ISP who's getting in the business is do your research first. Know what cart you're tying your horse to, because it's much harder years down the road to change what you're doing than it is to do your research ahead of time and pick the right partner like Adtran.